nightmare.
Activate.
Alright guys, welcome back. So let's continue with this. We got question number 5. Figure 6 shows the internal structure of the heart. One of the heart valves is labeled. Okay, sometimes a valve in a heart can start to leak. Explain why a person with a leaky heart valve has difficulty exercising. Right, so there will be a number of things that you can write about in here. You can say that there is a backflow that occurs when some of the blood goes backwards, the blood leaves the heart and less blood is pumped around into the body. We could say that less aerobic respiration is going to happen, so less energy is going to be released. There's be less efficient muscle construction, muscle contraction, and also, as the less amount of oxygen is taken into the blood because the backflow, it could reduce the amount of oxygen in the body, therefore less respiration and whatnot. Okay, so let's just write it down in a way that it makes a bit of sense. There you have it. There's your answer. As blood can leak backwards, less blood is pumped around the body with less pressure. As less oxygen is delivered, there will also be less aerobic respiration, resulting in less energy, and there is going to be less removal of carbon dioxide and lactic acid from across the body. Okay, and that's going to give you there your 6-mark questions. Right, so question 5.2, and then let's read the information. A patient with a leaky heart valve may have a valve replacement. A study compared 2 different types of replacement heart valves. You got a mechanical one and you also have a biological one. The data used in the study was collected from female patients aged 50 to 69 in table 4. Let's have a look. So you got the number of patients given the valve, 2,852 mechanicals, and 1,758 were given biological. And number of patients who died from the heart-related problems after the valve was replaced, so 180 and 178. There's not much difference in there. It's only about a difference of 2. Percentage of patients alive after 5 years. Again, not much difference, but you got a slight edge there in the mechanical ones. Percentage of patients needing a second valve replacement within 6 years. So in this case, the biological ones tends to get replaced a lot more often than the mechanical ones. And then it says the percentage of patients who had blood clots on the brain after surgery, and you got a 5.8% of mechanical ones compared to the 0.1% of the biological. Now, so even though the mechanical hearts, you have a highest number of patients who died, you got a higher percentage of patients who live after 5 years, you got only a 2.2 percentage of needing a second replacement, but you got a 5.8%, which is massive compared to the 0.1 of patients who ended up with blood clots in the brain after surgery. And if you ask me, I'd rather go for the biological heart instead of having the mechanical one, just to avoid that 5.8% of blood clots in the brain, which can lead to something even worse. Right, but that's just my opinion. So it says, give one conclusion about the death of patients from heart-related problems after the valve replacement. So we're going to give a conclusion on this here. Okay, this is what it's asking you after having the valve replacement. Right, so let's have a look. Over here it says include the calculation to support your answer. So they want you to do numbers. It's not just about saying what you think or what you can see. They're actually giving you a clue there and telling you that you need to show your calculations. So let's have a look. So if we had we have 2,852. So let's calculate percentages to start with. Okay, so we got 180 patients, 180 deaths. And you got 2,852. So you're going to divide those two and then times it by 100, which is going to give us 6.3 36%. Then we round it up to 6%, and we're going to do the same thing with the other ones. Now it says that we had 178. We're going to do divided by 1754, and that's going to give us times 100, and that's going to give us a number of 10.14823. And if we round it up, you're going to end up with 10%. So you got 10% and 6%. So we say that there is a higher percentage of people that died with the biological heart compared with the people that died with the mechanical heart. Okay, so, or you can say just patients are more likely to die with the biological valves. So let's have a look. And there you have it. So let's move on to the next question. Let's go. So it says there, 5.3. One risk of mechanical valves is that the blood clots can form on the surface of the valve. Name a component of the blood that starts the process of clotting. And for that, we're definitely going to have the platelets. Okay, the platelets in the blood are the ones that are in charge of clotting. They are also called thrombocytes, but I'd rather just say platelets. It's just a lot easier. All right, let's go. Question 5.4. Evaluate the use of mechanical replacement heart valves and biological replacement hearts. Use that information from table 4 and your own knowledge. All right. So by writing, use the information from table 4 and is in bold, it means that they want you to write down a bits of information that you got on the table itself. Okay. And then when it says evaluate, we know that in here, what we have to do is compare, do the pros and cons from both different valves, and then add your opinion on top of that. Okay, so let's just have a look at some of the things that we could say. Now, mechanical valves, the longer lasting, the more durable, they don't wear out as easily. So that means that you don't have to replacement within 6 years. They can get blood clots. They are more likely. So that's a negative. The patient has to take anti-clotting medication for the rest of their lives to make sure that the clotting doesn't happen, or to try and prevent as much of it. If the medication is not taken correctly, the clots can lead to brain clots or even heart attacks as well. The medication can lead to excessive bleeding after injury as well, because as you are in blood thinners that stops it from clotting. If you cut yourself, you're likely to bleed a lot more than if you just had a single cut where the platelets would just clot very quickly and scab. Survival rate at 5 years is slightly higher for mechanical valves, a lower percentage of death due to the heart-related problems. Not because of the valve itself, it's because of the problems with it, okay? Okay, so that's our first part over there. That could be easily your 2 marks, or maybe 2.5 or 3. And then we're going to go to the next one. So biological heart valves have no additional medication required, so you don't have to take medicine after you have those. There are some ethical issues around it since it's animal tissue. The valves may harden and therefore they need replacement more often than the mechanical ones. The body may reject the valve itself because this is from outside the body, and that is about it. I think the possibility is more likely that people would die from biological valves than they do from the mechanical ones, but there's a lot of other factors that can be taken into account. Okay, so let's write those down. All right, so there you have it. Now is the evaluation part where you give your personal opinion about what you think it would be best. So you can give your answer and then you justify it. So I think they're both okay. I personally would want to go for the biological heart, simply because I would like to avoid any sort of blood clotting or being on blood thinners or blood clot medication for the rest of my life. But that is just my opinion, okay? So it doesn't matter what answer you give. It's just a matter of justifying why you've chosen that answer, okay? Bosh, and then you have it. That is your answer there. That is a juicy 6 marks, and I'll see you in the next video for question number 6.
It was a nightmare. Activate.